if you are planning to take a trip to Lakshadweep anytime soon and are wondering whether a flight is available or not, and if it's not available, it will be made available very soon. That's the promise coming in from SpiceJet right now, suggesting that they have exclusive right over flight operations in Lakshadweep. Kartik, the row is becoming bigger, but also becoming more interesting with Maldives and, suggesting Lakshadweep as an alternative to the island nation of Maldives and perhaps other places that are available to India. But Lakshadweep does not seem to have a direct flight just as yet. You've got to go to Kochi. From there, you've got to take a flight, but even that is not really available. And SpiceJet now promising we are coming up with more flights.
Yeah, so I think SpiceJet is trying to tick all the right boxes, because it's not just Lakshadweep, it's also saying that it's going to fly to Ayodhya and is going to avail of this regional connectivity scheme called UDAN, Mission UDAN, which the Indian government has embarked upon. So, yeah, I mean, there is a flight. Alliance Air flies from Kochi to Agatti Airport and back, but I think it's going to take, number one, a lot more than airlines pledging that they will fly to the sector. Number one, of course, is already on the government's roadmap is to make the runway longer. So there's only one landing strip right now at the Agatti airport, and that is not likely to be able to accommodate the wide-bodied, bigger aircraft, which need a much longer runway. So number one, government is already looking at making the runway longer, extending its length. But I think it's not just going to be airlines alone. You will have to look at a lot more hospitality, a lot more convenience added. You'll need cabs. You'll need cab aggregators, you'll need hotels, you'll need restaurants, you'll need road connectivity, you'll need all sorts of this, infrastructure which builds the entire tourism ecosystem in Lakshadweep, which I think is obviously going to take much longer than people wanting to book a flight right now and travel to Lakshadweep. Some adventurous folks could do it already. They could go to Kochi and from Kochi take the Alliance Air flight and back. But my bigger problem is, or rather question, not a problem yet, is that there's a problem that SpiceJet is dealing with, and that problem is cash flow. So the board of directors may have approved the 2,200 crore rupees worth of fresh funding, but where is that money coming from? So as part of its expansion, using the fresh funding as part of expansion is all very well, but that fresh funding has to first come in. And when it does come in, should SpiceJet further bolster and strengthen the busier sectors and really rake in the money from those sectors, or look at destinations like Lakshadweep or Ayodhya, is a larger question that I think Ajay Singh
So clean up its operations first, or start plying on new routes?
Should you look at busier sectors, short sectors, and get money from those seats, or should you look at new sunrise sectors? Ayodhya, I think, is still likely to see more traffic than Lakshadweep in the...
You never know about Lakshadweep.
But yeah, I think Lakshadweep, the entire infrastructure development, the entire ecosystem building will definitely take time. So would it be an alternative to Maldives? I mean, yeah, we could be patriotic and we could be very nationalistic and say that yes, it will be an alternative, but just scenic beauty does not make it an alternative, not just to Maldives, even to Thailand, even to many other island cities and nations out there.
But you do have a lot of private players who are now showing interest in Lakshadweep by the way of building resorts, hopefully also building more road connectivity, having better facilities when it comes to visitation from tourists. What's also important is the ecological sensitivity of the area. Can it really accommodate as many tourists which fly to Maldives annually would be the question.
Absolutely. I think that is the fine balance that will have to be done by way of policy making and by way of, prioritizing economic interest, tourism interest with ecological or the natural life sciences interest. I think that fine balance will have to be done, given the fact that Lakshadweep and the islands surrounding it are still fairly virgin in their exploration. I think we can definitely look at some uptick in tourism without disrupting the natural ecological balance much. Should you let it become a Goa? Perhaps not.
Perhaps
Should
not.
you let it become a Phuket?
Actually, absolutely
Perhaps not.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure environmentalists will frown upon the idea of Lakshadweep becoming the next Goa. But of course, a lot of development there needed to support the influx of tourists who are hopefully going to fly after that social media post by Prime Minister went viral, pitting India against Maldives. The Maldivian ministers who made those derogatory remarks against the Prime Minister as well as Indians have been suspended. But the row is not going to blow out anytime soon. It is intact, in fact, only picking up heat with more private players suggesting that they will jump in fray, will provide better access to Indian coastal lines.